Welcome you all. In last class we discussed about introduction. In that introduction we came to know that why this subject is introduced for third semester civil engineering student, and what is structure, what is mechanism, and what are forces and loads that we studied, and strength, stiffness and stability. These how to check whether that element is ready to take or not, that whether that material is ready to withstand that load or not, that we are going to check in this subject. And many problems such as hanging with a rope, and then some trusses, some bars are there here, this structure, and bolt and nut system, and cantilever beams, twists, columns, buckles. These all things we studied in the last class. And after that, simple stresses, what is the meaning of stress and how it will be represented in the represented in the bar, or that formula also we studied. And unit of the stress, what is the unit of the stress? Newton per mm square, or MPa is a commonly used in strength of material. This we studied in last class. Now the further, what is the strain? What is a strain? The strain, I can say that it is a response for the stress. See, when the material is subjected to some force here, pull, this material is pulled with a force P, and that material has some length L, and the material has some cross-sectional area A. Then when we apply the equal and opposite forces in either side, then some stress will be developed inside, and initially the stress will be resisted, and that resistance increases. When the resistance increases and it becomes equal to the applied load, then it starts elongating its length. Okay, here you can see some length is elongated, right? This enlarged length, or otherwise I can say change in length, is observed in the bar. Okay, simultaneously the cross sectional area is also reduced. See, the cross sectional area was like this much from here to here, but after application of the load, after changing this much of length, then you can see some reduction in the area also takes place. Okay, therefore in the lengthwise, the whatever the change in length is there, that we will call it as a change in length in a longitudinal direction, and in other direction some diameter is changed, that we will call change in dimension in lateral direction. Lateral is the perpendicular to the load applied. Okay, then what is the strain? Strain is a one parameter, we use it to measure that change in length. Okay, then that formula is strain is defined as change in length to the original length. Change in length to the original length means change in length, how much it is changed here because of the applied load, that we are comparing with original length. Okay, then you can call it as a percentage change in length. Percentage change in length also you can call, that is a change in length by original length. And what is the unit of this one? This will be in mm. Change in length we will measure in mm, and original length also you can measure in mm. Therefore these two cancels, and strain, it don't have any unit. Strain, it don't have any unit. Of course, if you want to specify in some competitive exams, they will give strain some unit. That unit might be like meter, mm per meter. See, both are same, but it becomes very easy to read. Say for example, if I write 5 mm per meter is a strain. Okay, then how to make it unitless? You can make it like 5 mm per 1000 mm, because 5 mm per meter, they said 1 meter means 1000 mm, then you will get mm will cancel, and 5 into 10 raised to minus 3. Now see, 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 is also strain, and this is also strain, but units are different. Here mm per meter it is expressed, it becomes very easy to pronounce it, 5 mm per meter. But this one is 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 for the substitution purpose or any technical problem analysis, we will use such thing. And here you don't observe any unit. Okay, and change in dimension to the original dimension in a lateral direction, that we will call it as a lateral strain, that we will see it later. Lateral strain. Means we got two types of strain. One is a longitudinal strain that will be along lengthwise, and one is a lateral strain that will be perpendicular to the load wise. Okay, that is a cross sectional area wise. Now here some points are there with respect to strain. That is, the strain is thus a measure of the deformation of the member. This is a unit or parameter used to measure the deformation of the member, and it is simply a ratio of two quantities with the same unit, and it's one non-dimensional that has no unit. This I already explained. And one more point is that the deformation under load are very small. Okay, very small. Hence the strain also expressed in as a strain into 10 raised to minus 6. In such cases they are termed as micro strains. If here I can use if the deformations under the load are very small, then in that case you can use it as a micro strain. Okay, micro means 10 raised to minus 6. Then again, strain is also expressed as a percentage strain. Percentage strain, how you can say, that is your delta L by L multiplied by 100. Then this becomes strain in percentage. Strain expressed in percentage. Okay, these are three important points with respect to strain. Now the question is types of stresses and strain. Okay, now see, stress means I already told you that it is a resistance offered by the external force. Now depending on the external force, depending on the nature of the external force, the resistance developed inside also changes. Say for example, I will give you first example that I have a bar here, and this bar is pulled like this, or this bar is pushed like this. Okay, this bar is pushed like this. Then here the force is a tensile force. And this force is perpendicular to the surface where it is applied. This is the surface. This force is applied, and this is perpendicular to that. And resistance is also perpendicular to that. Even though if it is a compressive, but it is perpendicular to that, perpendicular to the surface where it is applied. Then in such cases, we will call this force as a normal force. Or we can call it as the direct force. Okay, now perpendicular it is. Then the resistance whatever that offers inside, that also if I check, then that will be perpendicular to the cross sectional area only, or otherwise in the same direction of that normal force, that is the external force. External force is perpendicular to the surface, then the resistance offered inside is also perpendicular to the surface. Therefore this stress we will call it as the first type of stress, that is the normal stress. Normal stress is denoted by sigma. Then when we apply such force, then elongation will take place. Elongation also comes in a lengthwise, in the direction of force applied. The length will come, and this length we will call it as a change in length divided by original length. If I do, then I will get a strain. That strain is called as 1B, is called as normal strain. That is normal strain. Now you came to know that what is the meaning of normal stress or normal strain. Normal stress is also called as direct stress. You can put in the bracket. Or then when it is said normal stress is also called as direct stress, the same thing, normal strain is also called as a direct strain. Now this normal stress may be of two types. One is the tensile stress or compressive stress. If the nature of the force is pulling the body, then this is called as a tensile stress. And if the nature of the forces are pushing the body, contracting, then that is called as a compressive stress. Then tensile stress and compressive stress are normal stresses only. Then after that, again by seeing where they are applying with respect to axis of the member, with respect to axis of the member. See here, this is a body, and this is the axis of the body. Then if the force is applied along the axis, then this force is called as axial force. Axial force. Then the resistance offered by the body for this axial force is called as axial stress. Axial stress. Resistance offered by the body for the axial force is called as axial stress. Okay, now again this we can give this normal stress, we can give another name like this P is applied along the lengthwise. This total lengthwise it is applied, therefore we can call it as a longitudinal force. Longitudinal force. Then the resistance offered in the body for the longitudinal force is called as longitudinal stress. Longitudinal stress. Okay, now, if at all, if any force is there here in this direction or in this direction, see here, this force is also perpendicular, this force is also perpendicular. But this force is along the lengthwise, therefore it is a longitudinal force, longitudinal stress, and this force is perpendicular to the length or perpendicular to the axis, therefore this we will call it as a lateral force. Lateral force. Then resistance offered by the material for the lateral force is called as lateral stress. Lateral stress. Okay, make a heading of these, that is normal stress, direct stress, tensile stress, compressive stress, axial stress, longitudinal stress, lateral stress. Okay, these all type of whatever the stresses I told now named here, these all stresses will apply perpendicular to the plane only, therefore they are all normal stresses, and the strain corresponding to them is called as a normal strain. If it is axial stress, that is axial strain. If it is a lateral stress, it is a lateral strain. Longitudinal stress, that is a longitudinal strain. Tensile stress, that is a tensile strain. Compressive stress, that is a compressive strain. Direct stress, that is a direct strain. Like that, corresponding strain we will just give the name in this way. Then the meaning just I told in the present slide, and you can go through that. Apart from this, now whatever that stress I explained here, this is the one type. This is only one time. Don't think that we have many types, so we got it here only. No, this is just a one type of stress. And the second very important type of stress is shear stress. Shear stress. This is also called as tangential stress. Tangential stress. Okay, denoted by the word tau. The letter tau. Tau is written like this, like this. This is a tau. Okay. Now shear means what? Shear means a rubbing action between the two parts. If I have one stone here, I will put another stone here, and I will compact it here, and I will pull this one this side and pull this one this side. Then there will be some rubbing action between the two surfaces of the stone. Okay, two surfaces of the stone, there will be some rubbing action. That phenomena is called as the shear. There is a rubbing action is called as the shear. Then resistance offered by the material for the shear force is called as shear stress. Resistance offered by the material for the shear force is called as shear stress. Then how it look like? For a diagram, if I want to write a diagram, then if I fix at one place here one block, and here some cross sectional area is there here. Okay, this is some block I have kept here and fixed it at the bottom. Then here on the surface I am going to apply some force, and that is tangential to the surface. Then this force may be F. When I apply such force, then initially the body will resist this one. The body, if I apply force this way, then the body will resist this one initially. When it is resisting, inside some stress will develop. That stress is called as shear force divided by area. Which area? Where that shear force is acting, this area. Where that shear force is acting, that is a area, tangential area. Therefore, this is called as the toe or shear stress. Then, after reaching equilibrium, it may deform. That deformation may go like this. That deformation go like this. Okay, and here you can observe originally the line was in a vertical and later it become inclined, means some angle is there here. This angle is called as change in angle. Change in angle. This change in angle we can denote it in terms of phi, the letter phi. Then this is called as a shear strain. Shear strain. Here the length is not changed. The length or otherwise dimensions that is not changed, but it is distorted, means it is somewhat deviated. That deviation angle is there, that is observed here, that is called a shear strain. Okay, now then if I want to make a formula for shear strain, you can have like this. See, this is the body fixed at the bottom, call it as A, call it as B. When the force is applied, it may deviate like this, and the B comes to B dash side, and this is called as a phi. This is called as a phi. Then this phi is equal to, actually I need to take a tan phi, but this phi will be very very small, therefore tan phi equal to phi, and tan theta formula is opposite by adjacent, then the opposite is BB dash divided by AB is your formula for shear strain. This is the formula for shear strain. Now we studied two types of strain, that is one is the normal strain and the second normal stress, and the second one the shear stress and corresponding strains. And now the third type of stress what I am going to study here now is compound stress. Compound stress. Compound stress is also called as complex stress. Complex stress. Okay. Now see here, complex stress or compound stress. This one, if I compound stress or complex stress is noted at a particular point. Say for example, this is a beam. This is a beam. It is loaded with some force. Some torsion is there, some force is there, some moment is there. If I consider one point here somewhere, and that point if I zoom it and write it here, it may look like a square plate. Okay, that is a small point here, a small peck of point. That point if I enlarge and write it here, then it may look like a square plate. Then this force may be pulled in this direction, it might be pulled in this direction, or it might be applied some shear to that. It might be applied some shear to that. Now this element, this point is subjected to compound stress. This point is called as, this is subjected to compound stress. Means the compound stress is a combination of or otherwise combined effect by normal stress and shear stress. Both normal stress, that is perpendicular to the plane, see this is the normal stress and this is the normal stress, perpendicular to plane it is applied, and shear stress is also applied. Then this material is under a complex system of stresses, that is called as compound stress. Okay, then the strain is also complex here, because the stresses are two types of stresses acting at one point at a time. Then the strain also comes in two directions. Now it may be that bar in that point might be like this, and later it might be like this. This might be distorted this way. See, the lengthwise, if I take one diagonal here, the diagonal length is changed. If I take this diagonal, the diagonal length is compressed, and along with that I know even the angle of change in angle also I am observing. Means I am observing normal strain as well as shear strain. Both I am observing, because this is subjected to complex stresses or compound stresses. And the fourth stress is flexural stress. Fourth one is flexural stress. This is also known as bending stress, but there is a little difference in these names. Bending stress. Okay, flexural stress is when the beam is like this. See here, first I will explain the things and later we'll give the definition. This is a beam, and here I am applying some force, whatever that force, point load or UDL or whatever that force I am applying. When I apply such force, then this beam will bend this way. That beam will bend this way. Right? Now this beam is bent this way. Initially the plane was like this, later the plane was like this. See here, the initially if I consider this plane is like this, and later that plane become inclined, and these two if I put it like this, then I will get like this. Then here some resistance is offered. Strain is also there, and before deviating, before deflecting that beam, I observed some resistance happened inside. That resistance is called as flexural stress. If the force is a pure bending force, then that is called as bending stress. Then the definition of flexural stress is the resistance offered by the material for the bend. Is called as flexural stress. And the last one stress is there, that last type of stress is torsional stress. Torsional shear stress. When a material is, say some shaft is there here, this shaft is rotated this way, okay, and keeping this axis constant in a straight, and I rotate this one. When I rotate it by applying some torque, then again inside some planes will be there. Those planes will they will resist the torque applied. When they resist the torque applied, then some resistance will be developed. That resistance is called as torsional shear stress. This is again denoted by τ. But there is a huge difference between this shear stress and the previous shear stress. But this shear stress is a torsional shear stress. That is also, the nature is same, but the definition or otherwise the formula, equation or understanding level of torsional shear stress is different, and shear stress in the previous slide is different. Now you came to know that these all are types of stresses. Okay. Now in the previous slide we discussed this strain, we discussed, and after that types of stresses we discussed. Thank you very much. In the next class we will discuss about elastic limit and Hooke's law. Okay. Thank you one and all.